Been there, done that. Days of Our Lives is primed to return Robert Scott Wilson to his original role, for good. You'd be hard-pressed to name someone whose life has taken more unpredictable turns than that of Days of Our Lives' Ben Weston. But portrayer Robert Scott Wilson comes close, without the serial killing, thankfully, and we aren't just talking about the fact that he's 2 years into his second Salem character, Alex Kyriakis. The music video hunk, who's appeared in clips for everyone from David Guetta to Toni Braxton, went from being the first male model ever to point out a showcase on The Price is Right to the role of Opal and Palmer Cortland's shirt-averse son Pete on the short-lived online reboot of All My Children. Finally, Days of Our Lives tapped him to take over from Justin Gaston, later briefly Chance on The Young and the Restless, as Ben Weston. May 22, 2014, was his first airdate. Did we mention that only a year later, the then NBC soap decided to make its resident hottie the nefarious necktie killer? Yeah, that was a pretty pointy fork in the road, but trooper that he is, Wilson rolled with the punch. I saw it not really as a door closing, he told Soap Opera Digest in 2020, but an opportunity. One with which he ran, so impressing the powers that be that even after Ben's murder spree, they brought Wilson back to the show and, against all odds, transformed him into not just a good guy, but a guy good enough for Beau and Hope's daughter Shira. That he and Victoria Confall went on to create a super couple goes, or could go, without saying. I remember the very first day we worked together, he told Digest in 2019. We didn't try to force a romance or tried to make it something it wasn't. We showed up prepared and did the work. And it worked. Big time. Once Sin were given their happy ending, Confall took her leave, at least as a contract player. But Wilson wanted to stay on as much as Days of Our Lives wanted him to stay, so in 2022, he was thrown another curveball. He was dropped into the new role of Justin Kyriakis' libidinous son Alex. That was all well and good, but while Alex had no problems connecting with the fairer sex, he struggled a bit more when it came to his family. From butting heads with Maggie over running Titan, to practically turning his back on Justin when he learned that Victor was his true dad, Alex hasn't exactly brought many warm and fuzzy feelings to the Kyriakis clan. He's also butted heads with Brady, who, after Alex's fling with both Theresa and Kristen, couldn't help but notice that his cousin/uncle seemed to delight in going after everyone in his life. And now that Alex has gotten his half of Victor's estate, he's been busy spending money like a drunken sailor, ticking off Maggie yet again. We don't really see Alex, or anyone in his life really, taking the news well that Xander is Victor's son instead of him. Theresa will be running from Salem by then. Maggie has enough grace to keep from gloating, but we have no doubt she'll be downright relieved. Alex will still get some of the family fortune, but he'll be out of his absurd wealth and certainly out of the CEO chair at Titan. Even Kristen may find him a whole lot less interesting if she doesn't have to worry about Theresa moving in on Brady, and finds out Alex isn't wealthy and powerful. But hey, maybe he'll at least go back to calling Justin, the man who raised him for 3 decades, Dad. In short, it seems that Alex will soon be running up against a wall, and all that could be left is for him to leave town, once again. And that would open the door to Ben's return. We know Victoria Confall will be bringing Shira back for Doug's funeral this fall, so it makes sense that Ben will be with her. But what if he stayed? Even if she doesn't, the show doesn't necessarily have to split Sin up to make it happen. They could find a reason to keep Ben in town while Sierra returns to Dad Beau's side. Something would have to be figured out long-term for them, but it would bring Ben back and allow Alex time to nurse his wounds. And more importantly, it would allow Wilson to stay.